was organized by Alabama Republican Senator Jeff Sessions. You remember he was among the first senators, so-called establishment senators at that, to say Donald Trump is my guy. He has a tough time convincing others. Mitch McConnell, the Republican leader, is not leaving Kentucky for this. Remember, the Senate's in the middle of a 2-week spring break. So obviously this will require a great deal of gamesmanship on the part of Mr. Trump to assuage concerns some of those members might have about his candidacy. With us now is Gianno Caldwell and Alex Pappas. Alex, begin with you. What does Donald Trump have to do at this gathering?
I think this is a very crucial moment for Donald Trump. As we know, just last week, there was a group of conservatives that were going around and talking about, even the option of a third-party scenario if Donald Trump gets the nomination, and they would get behind some sort of conservative. So I think what he has to do is go in there and convince them that it's not worth giving the general election to Hillary Clinton to stop Donald Trump from being the nominee, because it does sound like there are some conservatives that are almost, that's kind of the point we're talking about, because we all know that if there is a third-party conservative, I think would be very difficult for Donald Trump to win. And so I think he's got to convince them. A lot of these people probably haven't met him before, and I think he's going to go in there and try to charm them.
Gianno, I'm reading a lot into the no-shows, or those who might have RSVP'd but didn't, and I'm thinking Mitch McConnell. I don't know. There could be other prominent party leaders, but that's a pretty big slap in the face, is it not?
Well, I think at this point, Republican leaders everywhere are waking up and smelling the coffee. The truth of the matter is, it's not about Donald Trump convincing them that he's the guy that should be representing the Republican Party. It's about him being the likely nominee, and they should get behind him. Now, in terms of the leaders who may or may not show up at this meeting who has an RSVP, there's going to be a number of individuals who do not want to be seen as supporting Donald Trump right now, at least until the convention and he is the Republican nominee. So they'll wait until there's an opportunity to support him publicly after he's hit that threshold. Other than that, they're just going to sneak into the meeting if they can, say what they need to say, hopefully encourage him to speak, change his rhetoric just a little bit, and support him from here on out.
That says a lot right there, that they're going to sneak into the meeting, almost like they don't want to be seen or be soiled. And I don't know if that's the right message to send. Do you?
Well, I think that for...
Go ahead.
I think for a number of individuals on the right, whether it be conservative Tea Party, there's been a large force of individuals coalescing against Donald Trump. People tend to say that his rhetoric is kind of harsh. So now at this point, yes, it's a sneak in because there's been people condemning him from all over. So whereas he has not been anointed the nominee at this point, the likelihood is he will. So yes, they're going to sneak in and wait until he is the nominee before they can vocally support him publicly.
These are like people who show up at my parties. So you have to drag them to it or pay them off. But nevertheless, Alex, I'm reminded that the establishment, for want of a better term, is split on this. Mitt Romney, who only a little over a week ago was campaigning with John Kasich in Ohio, is now robocalling in Arizona and Utah that a vote for Kasich is apparently a waste of time. Why don't you listen to this?
This is the time for Republicans across the spectrum to unite behind Ted. He is the only Republican candidate who can defeat Donald Trump. And at this point, a vote for John Kasich is a vote for Donald Trump.
All right, that's a little weird, Alex. He was just campaigning with the guy in Ohio. Now he says, forget him. Focus on this guy, Trump, and stopping him, and Ted Cruz is the only guy to do that. Does that send mixed messages? What do you think?
Well, I tell you what, there are a lot of things that sound a little bizarre about it. Just the mere fact that Mitt Romney is doing something positively for Ted Cruz. I mean, if somebody told you this a year ago, 6 months ago, I mean, who would have even believed that? Yeah. Mitt Romney, when he announced that he was going to support Ted Cruz in the Utah caucuses tomorrow on Friday, he explained that he's doing it because he thinks it's the best way to beat Donald Trump. It's not necessarily because he loves Ted Cruz, but I think he thinks that by doing this, it heightens the possibility that there will be a contested convention. And in Mitt Romney's mind, he probably is thinking that in that scenario, maybe then another Republican could get the nomination. So it's not because Mitt Romney loves Ted Cruz. He just wants to stop Donald Trump, which is what's interesting about all these Republicans. It's all about stopping Trump.
Yeah.
What do you make of that, Gianno?
Yeah. And I agree with that, but here's the problem with Mitt Romney's his conversation on the issue. 60% of the delegates have been allotted. 47% has gone to Donald Trump. From here on out, the map, for the most part, favors Donald Trump. So saying, hey, we need to support Ted Cruz to stop Donald Trump, I think is a load of wooey, if you will. I don't think that it's really that much possible to stop Donald Trump at this point. He's been going strong, and everyone has coalesced against him, as I said, and they've thrown everything at him, the kitchen sink, the house, the Bentley, everything. And at this point, there's no stopping Donald Trump that I can say.
Yeah, the idea isn't so much stopping him as stopping him from getting to that 1237. That might be a leap. Gentlemen, I want to thank you both very, very much. By the way, Donald Trump would need about 53% of the remaining delegates to close that deal. Many argue that he can do that. If he can't, then it's anyone's guess as to how this convention sorts out.